beautiful people, and welcome to my YouTube channel. This is Jackie by Design. So a great CV is generally determined by a good personal profile, of course with the right qualifications for the job you're going for. So a good personal profile makes you stand out and also sells your unique capabilities to the recruiters. So today we are going to be discussing how what a good personal profile is, and how to put one together to compel the readers of your CV. So basically, a CV profile is a personal statement that gives the reader an idea of your personality and what makes you an individual. It summarizes the things about you, and also just give the reader an insight of your drive. You can also derive some potential talking points when an interview comes up, when you arrive at the getting to know you stage. So where does your personal profile go? In most cases, you will start, your resume will begin with your name, then the contact information will come under, then your personal profile then goes under your contact information. Therefore, the personal statement takes a prime position in your CV, and that's why it is important to get it right. What should you write in your personal profile? There are key three elements that should appear in your personal statement. Firstly, you should include some information about your personal attributes. You can say something about you are a solution oriented person, you're a result oriented person, or even a team player. And of course, many people can say such nice things about themselves, so you ensure you give an example on where you have illustrated or where you have shown such an attribute, and please let it be in your professional life. Secondly, you should mention some of your skills and your competences. Use your profile to mention some of your skills you have outside your professional ones. For example, you communicate well, and of course you follow it with the example just as you would in the personal attributes. Make a checklist. In your personal profile, you should answer at least the following questions. So read your personal profile out loud. How would it sound as an elevator speech? Remember you are selling yourself to a potential employer in this first paragraph, so you should be specific as possible. So here are some of the mistakes to avoid when writing your personal profile. One is making it too generic. There are characters in your personal profile that would fit other candidates, so these are characters that you should avoid as possible. Remember, it's called a personal profile. It's personal, so it should apply only to you, and it should be as specific as possible. 2. Spelling and grammar mistakes. You don't want to have spelling and grammar errors on your CV, and more specifically on the opening statement of your CV. So proofread the statement. Using bullet points. Well, your CV will have bullet points, but not in this particular area. Here you just use complete sentences so that you form a paragraph. You don't need to put bullet points. These ones will appear in the other parts of your CV. For example, when you're listing maybe your skills and your competences. Using too many ambiguous words. I know we all want to make our CV look good and flowery and appealing to the recruiters, but sometimes when you use too many big words or ambiguous words, you might confuse the recruiter, and it may just seem that you are trying to put in some words that are really not practical. So make it simple but also appealing. Another mistake is solely focusing on the requirements. Well, it is good to tailor your CV to suit the specific job requirements that have been listed, However, also just list something or just state something that makes you stand out, something unique about you aside from the requirements that have been listed. Another mistake is mixing the first and the third person. Well, using either is okay, but don't use them simultaneously. Again, your CV will look confused. Okay, before you sit down to put your personal profile, gather your thoughts together, gather the elements that you want or the characters you want to appear on this statement. Don't mix things up. This will really confuse the reader and really will not work for you. Lastly, you don't need to include any other information that appear in other sections of your CV. This will just be repetitive and make your profile look weak. Well, another thing to avoid is negativity. Your profile should be upbeat and should make a favorable first impression, just as you might want on your first date. So, how long should your personal statement be? Well, use about 4 to 8 lines, depending on the level of your experience and your skills. Of course, the more the experience and the skills you have garnered in your career, the more information you would want to include. But ensure you just pick a few highlights and avoid cramming too much information that will just overload the reader with too many facts about you. If you are at the entry level of your career, you might have too little to say about yourself, but this doesn't mean you sell yourself short. You might still make a remarkable statement. If that applies to you, then focus on your personal attributes more than your work experience, such as mentioning your ability to get along with people, or even your ability to work in a fast-paced work environment with a high sense of urgency, citing an example or two. Remember, you have an average of 6 seconds to impress your readers, so make it count. I hope this information was helpful. To get more of my videos, please hit the subscribe button below. You can also follow me on Instagram at Jackie by Design to get daily insights to help you design your career.